Hi, my name is Carolyn, and I serve as a minister at Orleans United Church, which happens to be one of the faith sites for the Healthy End of Life project. And one of the activities that we've just concluded today is, I believe it was either 6 or 7 week grief walk group. So what's a grief walk group? Well, good question. Before we started one, I didn't really know. We made it up as we went along. Now that might sound strange, but somebody came to me and said, we'd really like to do a grief walk. I hadn't done one before, but it sounded like a really good activity, a good practice to experience in a small group. So I said yes, and then off I went to figure out how to pull some of the threads together. First thing I did was I visited a bookstore here in Ottawa called Singing Pebble Books, and the staff there led me to this wonderful section they have on grief. A good deal of resources. I highly recommend making a trip to that particular shop. One of the books that they recommended is this one. It's called The Wild Edge of Sorrow. It's by Frances Weller, who I believe is a psychotherapist in private practice. And Weller takes you, the reader, through several gates of grief, 5 of them in fact. And so we structured the group in such a way that we would read from the section on grief, or gate number 1, gate number 2, gate number 3, and so on, 1 per week. He also outlines a couple of rituals, and we chose to use one of the rituals and adapt it for our own use. You can choose one of these rituals. You can take a look at something else. The group could create the ritual together. But what I did find was important was keeping the same ritual for each week during the group, so that over the course of time, the participants grow increasingly familiar with the ritual and could probably do it without benefit of explanation. The other book that I chose the day I went to the bookshop is an anthology of poems by Mary Oliver called Devotions. And I would do the book version of that game you play when you spin the globe and you decide where it is you're going to go. I would open the book, and most of the time, the page I turned to was exactly the poem I needed to read on the week in question. So I would share a bit from Weller's book. I would share a poem from Mary Oliver's anthology. And the rest of the time involved a bit of sharing about what the participants were going through, a walk either on the grounds of the church or in the neighborhood that they would do together but also alone. So spaced out a bit, so they had their bubble of solitude around them, but together in one general location. Then we would meet back together in the circle, complete our ritual, and I would send them out with a blessing, with a good wish or a good thought for the coming week. That's really all there was to it in terms of the preparation. The only other thing that I would say is abundantly crucial are setting up group norms at the beginning, which include confidentiality, and being able to hold the space, not just you, the leader, but everyone in the circle, so that people are attending to each other without trying to fix anything. If you're thinking of doing it, do it. It's not that difficult. It's turned out to be incredibly meaningful for the participants, and it's easy to replicate and do again and again. So, I encourage you to give it a try. Best wishes for a peaceful and a meaningful gathering.